Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Genevieve Hussey. That story soon. Also tonight, pressure mounts for the Territory Speaker's resignation and the battle to supply water to the outback.
It's all about water, and it's all about Aboriginal students solving the ongoing problem, the lack of water that so adversely affects the quality of life for so many on remote Aboriginal communities.
Now a tiny school in Alice Springs that's looking at new ways to battle an old problem with the help of the Centre for Appropriate Technology. Access to water, it's estimated we each use 50 buckets of water a day. Rose Crane reports.
The reason why I wanted to build one of these, because I wanted to build one out on my father's homeland. But I wasn't going to use cement, I was going to use mud and spinifex and a bit of chicken wire. I can just get the stuff from the land, natural resources.
And that so typifies the philosophy behind this new course at the Centre for Appropriate Technology in Alice Springs. On the end of this shovel, one of the lecturers encouraging ideas like Peter's.
Well, that's quite possible. I mean, what you've got to look at is what resources are around people. One of the briefs that Peter had was to build a tank that he could build on his outstation.
It's all about water, and it's all about Aboriginal students solving the ongoing problem, the lack of water that so adversely affects the quality of life for so many on remote Aboriginal communities.
Well, obviously in Central Australia, in an arid environment, water is crucial in the sense of the use of water, the availability of water, the quality of water. These are all very big issues.
And perhaps most importantly of all, it's education looking for solutions through appropriate means.
It is a good example of two worlds coming together, two cultures coming together, and that's why we had it made. It provides a very good teaching aid, and it also provides a very good way of understanding how the course is structured. This symbolises the function of water in any community, and it also talks about or shows that the sorts of skills, the knowledge that you would need to manage your water in the community.
It's taught me a lot. It's taught me that the land is very fragile in Central Australia. We should take more care, be very careful with our water resources, don't go wasting our water.
Australia's welterweight boxing champion after hours, but by day one of 5 students combining the intellectual and practical to find answers to some tough questions.
What my assessment is about is cutting down dust from causing erosion. And we use rainwater harvesting to eliminate those and grow new vegetation. Basically what I'm using are the runoff from the hills. So we grow a bit of vegetation around the hills, and hopefully what happens there is that water runs off and waters those trees when it rains.
The ATWORK training course, we hope will provide the sort of technical skills, and through that problem solving, through that understanding appropriate designs, understanding of appropriate options that people could choose to use. We have a tank down inside the seating here.
Oh, that's a similar situation. Oh, that's a good idea, yeah.
His family has an outstation south of Alice Springs in a fairly isolated situation. They need hot water. he thought that it would be a good idea if he learned about solar hot waters, and he decided he could build one.
And in this design, evidence of cultural considerations. The painting is a practical experiment to prevent the heater being vandalised.
By painting an Aboriginal motifs around the edges of the panel, with the idea that that would signal to kids throwing stones or whatever that it is a piece of Aboriginal technology and we should look after it.
The yellow line represents the heat that's coming from the sun.
Yeah.
Then there's the polypipe project, a simple system of reticulation for an outstation. Importantly, though, it's the project's demonstrable quality that will hopefully...
The task of the ATWORKer is to be a teacher and informer of his knowledge, and to impart that knowledge to his community people.
It's certainly not your average classroom, but then these students are not dealing with your average problems. They're challenged by a question of a quality of life, and that equals water.
Rose Crane with that report from Alice Springs. And that's the program. Good night.